it would not be an exaggeration to say that this past week has been one of the most difficult weeks of my life. Every day of this week, I have heard about new details related to the horrific case of the pedophile network operating out of my neighborhood, Nachlaot. As it turns out, my street, my small little alleyway of a street that doesn't even appear on most maps. It's a place where where many tourists come to take pictures of like picturesque historic Jerusalem. It turns out that the pedophiles were using several apartments on my street as their places to rape and molest children. Every day I hear about like new families involved, new kids that I know who are involved, new friends of mine whose kids were involved, who were molested and raped, and I can't even tell you just like what a nightmare this past week has been. It's been really hard for me. I've been doing this full time. I've been doing the pedophile crisis. It's just become a full-time job. I haven't really done anything on my blog. I haven't written anything. I haven't done anything. Basically, I've been doing the pedophile crisis full-time. Okay, and I guess that is what Hashem wants from me right now, is to be doing this full-time. So in addition to trying to do what I can to help in any way possible, a big part of what I've been doing in this full-time job, my pedophile crisis full-time job, has just been trying to keep my own head like above water, trying to keep myself functioning so I can be a mother to my children and be a wife to my husband and be like a functioning member of this community. It's not been easy. My head has fallen beneath the water for quite a large proportion of this week. But thank God, like I'm feeling sort of somewhat above water now. And I wanted to just tell you, this past week I've gotten a lot of advice from a lot of really extremely wise people about dealing with trauma, about dealing with like different crises happening and how to pull through them. So I wanted to tell you some very good pieces of advice which I've gotten. So if you're a mother living, one of my neighbors in Nachlaot or Shari Chesed or in Jerusalem, and you're struggling through this, then this is very good advice for you, I hope also. And if any of you are going through a difficult time, a crisis, a challenging situation, then these ideas I think could help you as well. Okay. So the first thing was I went this past week. I went to speak with a woman named Joan Berger Lehman, and Joan, she's like a world famous healer / therapist who works in Jerusalem, and she actually treats people worldwide. She treats people on the phone. So if you'd like her contact information, then be in touch with me. She's phenomenal. I think probably one of a kind. So she gave me a very basic sort of she gave me like an exercise that I could do that I found phenomenally helpful. So what she suggested is, well, first of all, like I sat down with her on Thursday, and she asked me to describe like how I'm feeling, like how I'm reacting to this whole situation and all like the news coming out about these vicious pedophiles, many of whom I knew, and it's just horrifying. So she asked me like, so how are you reacting to this whole situation? So I explained to her that the way that I'm reacting is I'm just feeling a ton of anger, and I feel like what I do is I'm envisioning myself like murdering them. I'm imagining myself like murdering them, killing them with a gun, killing them again, killing them again, killing them again, like killing them 50 times, and that's how I'm dealing. So she like nods and she's like, okay. She says, that's okay. She says, but she said, I'm going to tell you like a more constructive way to deal with this. Very sort of get your head above water as opposed to drowning underneath the water of this crisis. So she suggested, first of all, that what I need to do, I'm just going to give you like a bare bones sort of explanation. It's quite a bit more complicated than this. But I'm going to tell you like the bare bones approach of what I did that I found extremely helpful. So the first thing she said is to have like an image to represent what you're what you're feeling, or like this experience and what you're feeling. So for example, like a very angry person might envision like they are a volcano like erupting or something like that. So what I envisioned is I envisioned that I am a mother bear. I'm a mother bear, and I'm walking around the forest, and I'm seeing all these little baby cubs, and the baby cubs have been, were caught in the traps of hunters, and somehow they got out of the traps, but they're still injured and they're limping and they're suffering, and I'm just this mother bear, and I'm just walking around the forest, and I'm just letting out this mournful, screaming cry of a mother bear seeing the bear cubs, all these bear cubs of all of the other mother bears, and seeing all these bear cubs suffering, and just feeling so powerless and so scared, and so flipping out angry and just like not knowing what to do with all of it. So I thought of this, I sort of came up with this image on Shabbat, on Friday night, and it was so profoundly upsetting to me that I had to leave the table on Friday night. I was sitting with my family, and I just like went upstairs and just went to sleep. I just couldn't, it was profoundly upsetting to me, because I guess it's a very, very true image of just how I was feeling. So what Joan suggests is that so this first image, it's what she calls the, a gartel, like Hasidim or a gartel, to divide between the lower part of their bodies and sort of the more, like the upper part of their bodies, more animalistic part of our bodies, and the more divine-centered parts of our bodies. So she says the first image is your below the gartel image. It's the image of like, of what she calls, fight or flight. Like either you're like terrified, you're gonna kill them, like I was murdering all the time, or whatever. It's like this image of like you're the animal, or like this image of me as a mother bear being terribly afraid and powerless and whatever. So she says that's the first image. And what you want to do is you want to have what she calls a chavruta with your soul. You want to have a chavruta with your soul to edit and transform and what she calls recycle this image into an image which is a more above the gartel image, an image like sort of seeing the situation, how your soul sees the situation, how Hashem sees the situation. Okay, so basically, she suggested something good to do is you can do this before you go to sleep at night. You ask for Hashem's help. You ask for your soul and for Hashem to help you to edit the image as you sleep, and so that was what happened. I went to sleep very early on Friday night, and I woke up on Shabbat morning, and I just had this amazing image. I just like opened my eyes at like 4:30 in the morning, and like I had it. The image was this, that I am a mother bear, and I am strong, and I am walking around, and I am nurturing and helping all of the suffering little bear cubs, and I'm going around, and I'm speaking with with my fellow mother bears, and I am helping them. I'm going to warn them about the hunters, and I'm going to help them to protect their bear cubs. Okay, and also in my image, like I'm a mother cub, and I'm a mother bear, and I'm going to be also protecting my own bear cubs from all of the hunters out there. And it just left me feeling like for the rest of Shabbat, like I just felt so strong. I just felt like in a much, the goal of this exercise is that then, like, if you have the correct image, the correct edited image, the correct above the gartel image, then you'll feel strong and tranquil and good. It's not you're not going to feel like happy about something happy about this traumatic, difficulty that happened, but it can leave you feeling strong and tranquil and centered. And that was exactly how I felt. I felt like I am a mother bear. And I have a website, I have jewishmom.com, and I'm going to do what I can to help mothers to know how to protect their children. So these hunters can never, ever, ever, Bezrat Hashem, please God, never, ever hurt another child again as they've hurt all these children here in Nachlaot. And I wanted to say, a lawyer involved in the case said that this case now in Nachlaot, it is the worst case of sexual abuse of children in Israel's history. There's never ever, they're estimating that hundreds of children are potentially involved in this. Already 100 children are in treatment for rape and molestation, and they're saying that this is the biggest case of this kind, of the worst case and the biggest case of this kind in Israel's history. Okay, just to give you a sense of like what's happening here in this neighborhood. Okay, so the last thing I want to tell you, it's a story that I heard my good friend, my dear friend Efrat, and called me up this morning to tell me this story, and I really loved it. It's a story that she read in Rav Shalom Arish's new book, Sharav B'Todah. And she told me, so this is the story, and I'm a little bit blurry, but I think that this is the basic story. The story is this, that there was a man, and he was like a multi-millionaire businessman. And it turned out that he made this really, really awful business deal, and he ended up losing almost all of his money. And so he's like, well, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? So one day, he was, for whatever reason, he was visiting. He was at a very, very high building, and called the Azrieli Towers. He was at this very, very high building, and somehow he got locked on the roof. Okay, and somehow he was there without his cell phone. Which anyone who knows Israeli businessmen, this is almost impossible. But so this is the story. He's locked on the roof of this tall building, and he's like, so he has on his cell phone. He's like, and he says, hello, hello, hello. I'm stuck up here because the door locked behind him. Okay, so he's like, hello, hello, and nobody hears him, and no one pays any attention. And so then what does he do? He reaches into his pocket. And he has coins in his pocket, so he starts throwing the coins. He's like throwing down like a 5 shekel piece and a 1 shekel piece and a 10 shekel piece. And everyone, but what does he see? All the people walking below him on the Tel Aviv street. They pick up the coins and like, great. They just put it in their pocket. So then he's not sure what to do. So then he realizes, he looks down and he sees that there's gravel on the rooftop. So he takes some gravel and he starts throwing that down, and then people start going like this. Then he sees people start going like this. What's going on? What's going on? Who's throwing the gravel? Who's doing that to me? Okay? So I just thought this was quite a phenomenal story. You know, it's like when God's throwing coins down at us, like when God's sending us good health and good parnasa and only good news and wonderful kids and everything's great, and we're all like, great, 10 shekels, I'm putting it in my pocket. Great, 5 shekels, I'm putting it into my pocket too. We're never looking up and saying, who sent us this? Who sent us this parnasa b'shefa? Who sent us this good health? Who sent us this wonderful husband? Who sent us this wonderful news? But as soon as Hashem starts throwing this gravel down on us, starts sending us difficult stories and things that are scary and things that make us very, very angry and things that make us profoundly, profoundly upset, then we're looking up and saying, who sent that down? Who's throwing that? Okay? And then I realize it's what's happening here. Like, it's Elul. Hashem wants me to look up, and Hashem wants our whole community to look up and to say, what's going on? Who's throwing that down at us? Okay? So, just like a side note, like I don't know that the whole situation for the kids, as I said before, I have zero idea theologically what's going on here. I'm not saying for any of you watching this, if your children were involved in this, I have no idea how these stories could have happened, how these people could have gotten and abused children. But I'm just saying, for me, as a grown-up involved in this story, I guess on the outside of the story, then I feel like that. I feel like Hashem is trying to get my attention. Hashem's throwing gravel down at me, is trying to like finally say, you know, okay, I've been throwing a lot of coins at you, and now I'm throwing some gravel. It's Elul. I want you to look up and say, who's throwing down that gravel? Okay? So I want to bless all of us. I want to just tell you what I've been davening for. I've been davening that all of these evil, evil, evil pedophiles who have done have performed such atrocities, evil atrocities against children in my neighborhood. Many, many of them I know, and it's really horrific what's going on here. So that all of these, I'm davening every day that these pedophiles, that Hashem should make it that they will never, ever, ever be able to hurt any more children ever again. And I'm also davening that Hashem will make it. Hashem will protect all of the children in the world. We'll all keep all of the children in the world safe. Not only the children in Nachlaot, and not only the Jewish children, all the children in the whole world. Hashem will keep all of them safe. And that Hashem will provide, please God, a complete and miraculous healing for all of the children, all of the wonderful, pure, beautiful children who were involved in the story, who were abused so cruelly by these evil, evil pedophiles. And I want to bless all of us that this Elul, that we should really feel the Melech B'Sadeh, that we feel that Hashem is right here with us. Hashem is here. Hashem's throwing a bit of gravel at us. He wants us to look up and say, Hashem, I feel you. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you. You're with me. I know you're here. I know you're always with me. That we should feel Hashem so close this Elul as we prepare for Rosh Hashanah. And I bless all of us. We should only hear B'sorot Tavot. We should only hear good news. And I want to bless all of you with a wonderful, wonderful week.